Inside the final month of the regular season and playoff seeding and home field advantage very much at stake. Tonight from American Legion Memorial Stadium in the Queen City, it's Charlotte Independence and Forward Madison. It's USL League One soccer on ESPN+. I'm Donnie Barnes, and as we look at the current standings, you can see why this game is so important. Just 4 games left for both these sides. Charlotte 2 points ahead of Madison for 4th place, and that's critical because 3rd and 4th place host a first-round playoff game, and Charlotte in particular have been much better at home than on the road. This is a challenging game for Madison. They played on Wednesday and then had to travel here, while the Independents have had all week to prepare for this home match. One of the reasons Charlotte are a top 4 team this year is this man, Miguel Ibarra. He's pulled the strings in midfield throughout the year and is among the league leaders in assists, and his ability to drift around the field and make accurate and line-splitting passes is going to be especially important tonight against a Madison side that's pitched 3 shutouts in a row and have been one of the stingiest defenses in the league. The Mingos like to keep things very narrow and compressed, and so your ball movement has to be really good to break them down. That's the kind of thing Miguel Ibarra can do, and they need him to do it tonight. Forward Madison are without leading scorer Christian Cheney tonight, meanwhile. He picked up his 8th yellow card of the year on Wednesday and is suspended for the game. Look for Derek Gephardt to come off the bench in the second half at some point and make an impact for them. While he doesn't have the kind of physical presence that Cheney has, what he does have is speed and movement and the ability to run in behind, and he's been very sharp lately. Madison will need him to use his pace and his threat to keep Charlotte honest in that second half. If they're going to steal a win at a place the Independents have made a fortress this year, he'll likely be a big part of it. We definitely want to play at home in the first round. It's a motivation for us, said Charlotte head coach Mike Jeffries this week. Will they solidify that place in the top 4, or will Madison continue their push to bring a postseason match to Wisconsin next month? Find out with your starting 11s and your kickoff next.
Always reaching higher, pushing further, achieving remarkable. At Novant Health, we never stop. Because whether it's sports performance at the highest level or the playground level, we're driven to help you excel at what drives you. Not just keeping you healthy for the game, but also healthy for life. Novant Health. Expect remarkable.
When it comes to delivering high-quality, affordable health care, relationships matter. And after 90 years, we're proud of the relationships we've built with you, North Carolina. We're collaborating with leaders like Vici, supporting her efforts to help schools address the mental health needs of students, and foster care moms like Gail, working with her to ensure our state's most vulnerable children are thriving, and caregivers like Maya, partnering with her to improve maternal health. From lowering costs to building healthier communities, we are committed to improving the health and well-being of everyone across this state. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina is not your typical health insurer. We're 5,000 neighbors, friends, and family working hard to make healthcare affordable, easier to navigate, and accessible for all. North Carolina is our home. We're here for you, all of you.
Tonight, the Charlotte Independents and Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina present Latin Heritage Night, a celebration of Charlotte's growing and vibrant Hispanic and Latino cultures. Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina is the official health insurance provider of the Charlotte Independents. It is the Independents and Forward Madison today. Here are the starting 11s for this game, presented by Capelli. For the home side, coached by Mike Jeffries, an unchanged starting 11 from their 2-2 draw at Lexington last Saturday. Can Gabriel Oberton produce another moment of magic? He scored a terrific goal with his left foot last Saturday. Omar Sis, always important at the base of their midfield. Tresor Mbuyu's movement will be key out on that left wing. Dane Kelly is available off the bench, remember, as a second-half substitute. He scored a goal off the bench last week and is tied for the team lead in goals with 8 on the year. For Forward Madison, It will be 4 changes today from their 0-0 draw with Northern Colorado on Wednesday, as manager Matt Glazer rotates a bit to try to keep things fresh. Jason Ramos in for Sam Brotherton on the back line. Mauro Sacchero returns to the starting 11. That's big for them. They've really missed him these past couple months. Ozzy Ramos drops to the bench. Francis Jeannot-Baptiste is in for Derek Gephardt, and Jaden Onen is in for Nazim Bartman. So almost set for kickoff. As you see our procession, and we'll take a look at our injury report as we wait for that first kick. Clay Dimmick out long-term, unfortunately, for Charlotte. That is a big miss for them. He is their leader and captain, and we certainly hope for a good recovery for him. Ryan JJ remains out as well. That's your Novant Health injury report. Keys to the game today presented by Resident Culture. For Charlotte, movement and tempo. You have to move both the ball and yourself in different unpredictable ways. Mike Jeffries told us this week, if you're going to unlock this very tight Madison defense. And for Madison, limit space and gaps. They want to make things very difficult for Charlotte today, as a point would not be a bad result for them. Matt Glazer said on Thursday they're not going to take crazy risks today, especially with that short turnaround after Wednesday's game. There you see Mitch Osmond and Miguel Ibarra, the 2 captains, discussing with our officials. We'll have the pre-match coin toss there. Alexander Zeliaskov is our center referee today, and Mitch Osmond celebrating a coin toss victory in good spirits with Miguel Ibarra there, as we're just about set for kickoff. The assistant referees today, Hillis Waddell III, Bryson Condry, and the 4th official is Promise Adebayago Ige. You see Charlotte will be in their blue kits today, blue shorts, blue tops, blue socks, and forward Madison in the pink this afternoon. It's a great color matchup today, the pink tops and shorts and socks for the visitors from Wisconsin. Again, it is, on paper, a big advantage for Charlotte schedule-wise, since they've been home all week, didn't play since last Saturday at Lexington, so they've had the entire week to prepare for this match. As you see their pre-match huddle, Gabriel Oberton wearing the number 56, one of the leaders of this squad. And Madison playing their 3rd game in a week. Played at home against Northern Colorado, played them to that 0-0 standstill. Actually missed a penalty late in the first half, and could have been even better for them, but still a strong performance. They've gone 3 games unscored upon defensively, as their defense has gotten back to their best after a spell where they conceded 13 goals in their previous 4 matches. So Madison, even though they're 2 points behind Charlotte for that 4th spot and a possible home playoff match, they're not going to throw caution to the wind. Matt Glazer said they'd love to steal all 3 points today, but a point would be okay in their book. Just 3 matches left for both sides after today. Every game, every kick, every moment, so critical this time of year. Discussion with Jaden Onen before we get things underway. And so here we go. Underway from Charlotte. Can the Independents maintain that 4th spot and a possible home field in the first round of the playoffs, or can Madison leapfrog them and create a potential home match of their own in Wisconsin next month? It is Charlotte moving from left to right in this first half. Omar Sis, who is usually unsung, so critical for them in moving and recycling the ball and cleaning up in front of that back line. And an early free kick for the home side, which they looked to possibly take quickly, but, well, now the decision has been changed, and the free kick is Madison's instead. Appears there may have been an offside flag raised on that near side. Aquafina is the official water of the Charlotte Independents. When the game heats up, cool down with Aquafina. Madison, a very structured side. They move the ball very well, create good angles. Mike Jeffries complimented them this week. They do not normally throw bodies forward crazily anyhow. Especially on the 3-day turnaround, they'll look to be even more structured and disciplined than usual. That's a rare careless pass. Miguel Ibarra with his first involvement. Ibarra among the league leaders with 8 assists on the year. Sprays one long and overshoots his target this first time. Burn Shipman with his first touch for Madison. Great pickup he's been in goal for them this year. He started every match. He's made enormous saves throughout, including against Northern Colorado on Wednesday. He denied league record goal scorer Trevor Ammon a couple times one-on-one. First foray forward for Madison now. It comes down that left side. It's Mauro Cicero, who can be such a creative presence when he's healthy. Falls at the top of the box. And there's space out on the flank for Pierre da Silva. And he serves back post, and what a chance. And Cicero didn't make a clean connection with it and glances wide. And it was almost a dream start for the Mingos. They worked it really well. Tons of space and time for Pierre da Silva to serve that, and Cicero, well, maybe that's the attempt of a man who's missed a lot of time with injury in the past couple months. He's appeared off the bench in their last couple games, so it's not his first game action in a while, but his first time starting in a bit. Here's Ibarra trying to lead Mbuyu down that left flank, but he's shielded well off the ball by Jason Ramos, who, as mentioned, has returned to the starting 11 today as well. Ramos just added by Madison a couple weeks ago, one of a few pickups they've made for this stretch run. It is a game where Charlotte head coach Mike Jeffries told us they'll have to be very patient. So their game last week against Lexington was an up and down, very fast-paced game, which is what he expected. And he's not expecting that same kind of pace and back and forth nature today. Well, Madison almost created that opener very early on. Madison tied for the fewest goals conceded in the league this year. They have not scored a ton. Generally very stingy in defense. That's another good ball out on the left, and this is Cicero who has drifted out there this time. Pulls it back for Da Silva. Jaden Onan had to muscle around the official to receive that one. Now Stephen Payne trying to take it under command. He was looking for a foul, none given, and Mbuyu can gallop the other way for the Jacks. Oberton, that's a nice overlap, and Flanagan is away. Flanagan very fast. He's going to try to race around Mitch Osmond, and it's touched out. Osmond doing enough to keep Flanagan from turning the final corner. It will be the first corner of the match for Charlotte, presented by Chick-fil-A. There was the first look at how quickly Charlotte can transition. After Payne thought he should have had a foul at the other end. Good last-ditch defending by Osmond. Leads to this ensuing corner from Joel Johnson. Ball goes in, heads go up. Out it goes. It's a goal kick. Charlotte had a few blue shirts queuing up at that front post. Nobody able to redirect it goalwards. Select is the official match ball supplier of USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit www.us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. That's a good ball to find Jaden Onan in a little pocket. And Onan touched it around one. And Onan's into the box. And Cicero just wide. Boy, he's had 2 chances in this early going, Mauro Cicero. Much closer that time. Wrapped his foot around it, but couldn't steer it inside that far post. Good work from Jaden Onan to set it all up. Breaking into that box and teeing up Cicero, who wasn't far away. It's a hopeful ball for Joel Johnson, who's had to move to the back line for Charlotte as this season has gone on due to the injury to Clay Dimmick, but appears to be playing further forward early on today. That really helps Charlotte's attack when he's able to get forward. He was leading them in goals when he had to move to the back line. His versatility is such an asset for this team. He can play all over the pitch, wherever he's needed, but his ability to score and contribute to the attack is big when he's freed up to do so. Madison getting themselves forward well, though, in these opening 10 minutes. That ball didn't find De Silva this time. Just one win in the last 7 for Madison, but again, playing much better over their last 3 matches. A couple 0-0s with one Knox and Northern Colorado, and an excellent 2-0 win against Richmond Kickers to sweep the Henny Derby this year. Madison winning all 3 against Richmond, which of course they absolutely loved. Good rhythm and tempo to this match early on, helped out by the band in the background. Joel Johnson, Omar Sis, Nick Spielman, who's had a terrific season. Came on as a trialist and has nailed down a starting spot in that back line. Here's Ibarra now. Ibarra by the end line, can't keep it in play. Again, good cover from Mitch Osmond to come over and shield him off the ball. And it's a goal kick. The best ticket deal in the Queen City is back. Get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, and 4 soft drinks for just $99. It's our Great Clips Family 4-pack. And this year, Charlotte also offering a 2-pack. For more information, go to charlotteindependence.com. Madison again without Christian Cheney today. He had to miss the match against Madison after receiving a double yellow and therefore a red in the game against Knoxville, and then picking up his 8th yellow card of the year on Wednesday against Northern Colorado, and that means an automatic 1-match suspension for yellow card accumulation as Spielman has to stab this out of play. It'll be a throw deep in the attacking half for Madison. See Matt Glazer in the bottom of your screen there. He feels this team this year has a lot more grit and a lot more to them than in past seasons. Really likes the makeup of this team, even as they went through some struggles last month. Jake Kroll to take this throw. As he launches it into the box. Came all the way through, and Spielman again sent it unceremoniously back out. A little bit of confusion between the 4 blue shirts that were in the area. Kroll takes this one short. Andrew Wheeler-Amanu. Now Kroll, good ball in. Knotted clear and then further away by Johnson. Only as far as Wheeler-Amanu, who recycles to Kroll. Kroll has the overlapping run from De Silva. De Silva keeps it in play. Across the face it went. Spielman stuck out a crucial foot to intercept. And Nick Spielman a few times in these first 11 minutes with that vital last intervention to keep Madison from having a great chance. The Independents were not expecting Nick Spielman to become their starting center back at the beginning of the year, but that's how it's turned out. He has seized that opportunity with both hands, and he has run with it. He's not giving it back. Free kick for Madison as Johnson bundles De Silva over. Joel Johnson, who does wear Gallegos on the back of his shirt, but listed as Joel Johnson on the team roster and in all the team publications. De Silva. That's a throw for Madison. So without Christian Cheney, it does definitely change the way that Madison attack. Cheney is a very good target forward. He has size and the ability to plant his feet and muscle up and hold up the ball up top to allow teammates to join into the attack. They don't really have another striker of his type. Using fluid ball movement early on, and they might be in here, but again, it was intercepted just at the crucial moment, and that came off Sachero and will be a throw for Charlotte. But they're moving it between the thirds quite well, Madison, in these early minutes. Matt Glazer has to be pretty pleased with what he's seeing on short rest from his team early on. Tackled away and won by Onan. Jaden Onan, but intercepted by Hector Acosta. It looks to start a counter the other way, but that's too heavy for Avion Flanagan. Rare misplaced ball. De Silva now. He's played for several USL Championship sides. One of a bunch of pickups that Matt Glazer and forward Madison made last off-season to remake this side after a disappointing 2022 campaign. They are certainly not assured yet, but closing in potentially on a first playoff berth in 4 years. And that was their goal at the start of the season, to return to the postseason, in which they appeared in their inaugural year in 2019, but had not been since. Kept alive by Onan. Kelly Barr looking to step up and press, but Madison very calm and assured at passing around that press generally, and they work it well to Payne on the right. Matt Glazer saying they want to be the most structured team in the league in the way they play. You saw that on Wednesday against Northern Colorado, against the joint highest scoring team in the league. That misplaced ball forces Ramos to track it down, but he does. But Madison, especially in the second half, were able to blunt that Northern Colorado attack very effectively. We're a little unfortunate not to win the game. Ball down the middle too long, and Shipman calmly takes. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2023. Whether your club's on the road or at home, catch nearly every second of USL League One action on ESPN+. Home to the USL, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Charlotte trying to high press for the first time today. You see how Madison break that well. And Jaden Onan with some space in the middle of the park, looking for the overlap from Stephen Payne, but that's over-ambitious. And out for a Charlotte throw. Still not a bad sequence for Madison. They work it out from back to middle and force Charlotte down the pitch. Now Madison can set up a little bit of a press on that far side if they choose. They almost were able to nick it back. Saw Francis Janot Baptiste. Nearly was able to ambush Avion Flanagan. Nick Spielman, who will step up quite high at times. He's not afraid to move out to that flank. Charlotte sometimes effectively play with a back three, as you can see right now, even though they nominally set up in a back four. But Avion Flanagan will move higher up the pitch the way he is right now, and leave the three other defenders at the back. They're comfortable doing that. Gabriel Oberton now shielding with his body well and brings Flanagan into the play. And Flanagan looked to serve it in. I believe he was aiming for Tresor Mbuyu. So Charlotte trying to stretch that Madison back line with some of those long balls over the top early on. Madison like to keep it so compact and so narrow. They will at times sit deep in that low block. You have to try lots of different things, lots of different patterns and movements. Try to pull them out of shape. It's still not easy to do, even when you do all of that. Onan, right up the middle for Baptiste. Baptiste finds Payne. Onan. Wheeler Amanu. Jacob Kroll. De Silva. De Silva's ball back post. Overshot. Falls to Payne on the edge of the area. Onan now. Tried to touch it into the path of a teammate. Didn't come off. Flanagan galloping the other way for Charlotte. 18 minutes gone, 0-0. It's Sis now with space to roam forward, and Oberton takes over. Oberton scored with the left last week. It's good shielding of the ball by Bashir Ndiaye. Now Joel Johnson. Oberton. He can hit them from there. That's where he scored last week. Johnson, his cross, cut out, corner. Second of the match for Charlotte, presented by Chick-fil-A. Pepsi Cola is the official soft drink of the Charlotte Independents. Enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi while watching the Jacks. Pepsi, born in the Carolinas. Avion Flanagan, who has that silky left foot, over to take this in-swinger. Flanagan scooping it near post, nearly came through. And then ping from the top of the area onto the roof of the net. Joel Johnson off a slack ball. Nearly punished Madison for it, although it looked like Shipman had it covered if it had been under the crossbar. Interesting routine. That's not a good ball out, and Johnson hit it first time and wasn't far away. So those are the kind of mistakes that Madison have to avoid on a short rest day. So give away a free kick here. Those are the kind of mistakes Madison have not been making very many of in their past 3 games. And for most of the season, to be fair. Just that little blip for that 4-match span previous. But other than that, they have been arguably the best defensive side in the league. Payne back toward his keeper, had to steer it wide, and it's out for a corner. I think Stephen Payne saw Tresor Mbuyu coming right as he went to steer that header back to his keeper and realized he didn't have that angle and had to put it out instead. You saw Bernd Shipman clap his hands and say, that's all right. Rather you do that than hand it straight to an attacker and give away an easy goal. Ibarra to take this one. A Chick-fil-A corner again for Charlotte. Ibarra. And it comes to Ndiaye, falls to Mbuyu, and Mbuyu commits the foul. Concern for the Mingo down. Worry about head contact. Let's see it again. It's a good ball in from Ibarra. Bashir Ndiaye got his head to it initially, and then Mauro Sachero who came out and took the contact. Now Sachero has struggled with a bunch of nagging injuries this year, but can play 3 or 4 different positions, Matt Glazer said. And Glazer told us when he's at his best, he can come in and combine on plays. He's making third-man runs. He's beating people on the dribble. He's getting in the box. He's using his size for aerial duels. When he's doing that well, Glazer said he's a very effective player in our league. We've seen him be involved early today. They certainly want and need him to stay healthy for the rest of this year. Good ball down the right. Payne in some space there. Corey Bennett stepping to him. Kroll. De Silva. Osmond. This is where Madison will be very patient. They won't force things. Not afraid to pull the ball back, recycle it, work it around again. Especially against a team like Charlotte, who can be lethal in transition if you give the ball away in a bad spot. Aiming for De Silva, and Mbuyu, who doesn't win a ton of headers, wins that one. Ibarra uses the safety valve of Acosta. Grab some new gear for the next Independence game with scarves, hats, shirts, and more. The Jacks have merch for every Independence fan. Head over to store.charlotteindependence.com. Again, that's store.charlotteindependence.com to find your next piece of Jacks gear. Came off a Madison head last. The throw is Charlotte's. This is the first game of nearly a full slate of League One action today. Lots of intriguing games to come. As Flanagan pulls it back to Austin Pack, who has been terrific in goal for Charlotte this year. At the top of the hour, 6 o'clock Eastern, Lexington will kick off against Chattanooga Red Wolves. Lexington not quite eliminated from playoff contention yet. They need to win all their remaining games and have a lot of other things go their way. It's still mathematically possible. It's been a strong first year for the expansion side regardless. And then at 6:30 Eastern, Tormenta and 1 Knoxville. And that's one where both sides desperately need to win to effectively keep their playoff ambitions alive. A draw does not do either of those teams any good, as they're both below the playoff line and running out of time. Then at 8 o'clock Eastern time, Union Omaha looking to extend their League One record 9-match winning streak to 10 against bottom of the table Central Valley Fuego. But of course we see crazy things in the sport in general and this league in particular all the time. Upsets happen all the time. Central Valley will hope to spring one at Werner Park on Oktoberfest in the Omaha Metro a little bit later on. And then the late game tonight, and the one that's perhaps most eagerly anticipated at 9 o'clock Eastern time, Northern Colorado and North Carolina FC in a top-of-the-table clash. 1 and 2 in the standings entering today. Avion Flanagan making progress down the left for Charlotte meanwhile. Corey Bennett hasn't been involved much early on. Sis on the edge of the box, just dispossessed as he tried to square it for Oberton. And the foul release pressure for Madison. Oberton asking me, really? But it is a free kick for the men in pink. Again tonight, the Charlotte Independence and Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina present Latin Heritage Night, a celebration of Charlotte's growing and vibrant Hispanic and Latino cultures. Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina is the official health insurance provider of the Charlotte Independence. We'll also want to remind you the best ticket deal in the Queen City is back. Get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, and 4 soft drinks for just $99. It's the Great Clips Family Pack. This year they're also offering a 2-pack, and for more information, go to charlotteindependence.com. Also want to remind you that all replays today are brought to you by AccuVision LASIK. As Bernd Shipman and teammates combining well to break that press again. Straight up the middle, didn't find Jaden Onan. Back the other way comes Tresor Mbuyu. Immediately swarmed by pink shirts, and Ibarra had it tackled away from him. Wheeler Amanu involved for Madison. Mike Jeffries at the bottom of your picture there briefly, head coach of the Charlotte Independence side, who have 9 wins, just 2 defeats and 2 draws here at home this year. Bennett trying to speed around the corner, denied very well. First time Corey Bennett's really been able to get on the ball in this first half. Joel Johnson, man down for Madison. Johnson from distance. The deflection took the pace out of it. And now a pause as they see about the injured Mingo. See who this is for forward Madison. They've had quite a few injuries this year already. With the additions that the Mingos have made lately, so we'll see if we can get a glimpse at who this was. That is Andrew Wheeler Amanu, who took the contact around the chest or the chin, perhaps. With the recent additions that they've made, Ozzy Ramos, Jason Ramos, who's in the starting lineup today, and Pierre Da Silva, also in the 11 this afternoon. Matt Glazer said this week it's the first time this year, really, that they've been able to have competition for places, which is always so valuable for a team. So good to see Wheeler Amanu up and walking. As we remind you that it was recently announced that the new Division I Women's Professional Soccer League, the USL Super League, is coming to the Carolinas. You can take part in helping Charlotte launch their team by visiting superleaguecarolinas.com. Back underway. Nearly a half hour in, 0-0. Madison had a couple decent looks in the first 10 minutes or so. The game has settled into more or less what we expected. Very tight, cagey, tactical. Chances at a premium. Da Silva dispossessed by Johnson. Now Mbuyu will roam from side to side across that front line and takes the contact and wins a free kick. Da Silva clipping him from behind. A chance for Charlotte to line up a set piece. So Johnson and Flanagan, who are usually around these free kicks, around this one. Will it be Flanagan with the left? Will it be Johnson with the right? It is Avion Flanagan curling one to the penalty spot, away by Osmond. Ibarra tried to stab it back in. Da Silva further away. Ibarra again takes it down. And Sis all the way back to Austin Pack. Bring the whole group out to the next Jacks game, watch some good soccer, grab some cold drinks, and take in a match with a view of uptown Charlotte. Email tickets at queencitysc.com or Call 980-392-9170 to schedule your next group outing. Spielman had to be strong on the ball again there. That's a good ball out. And Ibarra misfired to Flanagan. Some trouble in the middle of the park for Madison. Just tackled away by Osmond again. Kept moving by Mbuyu though. Here is Mbuyu trying to play an Ibarra by the end line. It's Ibarra, that's in play, and it's put out for a corner. Vital touch that time by Jason Ramos. Otherwise, Oberton was lurking to slam it in. It's a clever ball from Mbuyu, and Ibarra just able to keep it in play. Oberton waiting at that near post for the cutback. Ramos read it very well. Fourth Chick-fil-A corner of the opening half for Charlotte. Flanagan will look to bend this one in. He plays it short to Ibarra instead. Now the cross was cut out by the charging Francis Jeannot-Baptiste. Back in play very quickly to Oberton and Flanagan. Flanagan thought about the cross. Now bends it in back post. Nobody there in blue, and it was overhit anyhow. Make your own schedule with our new Flex Plan ticket package. You can get tickets at a lower rate for the matches that fit your schedule just by emailing tickets@queencitysc.com or calling our ticket office at 980-392-9170. Madison put under duress a couple times in this opening half, but generally looking fairly comfortable. That stay in play. It is a throw for Charlotte. Apparently it was in play initially and came off to Silva last. But then they let Madison take the throw, which is confusing. Thought the point was the other direction, but it is Madison working it now down the right with Stephen Payne. Aiden Macias. Macias looking to really get involved for the first time in this half. A little push on Baptiste. Wheeler Amanu. Kroll. Oberton stepping up to Osmond. Wheeler Amanu again. And that's a good ball. And a big chance coming. Baptiste denied by Pack. And Pack sprawling on the rebound. And the Pac-Man levels up again for Charlotte. Vital stop to keep it 0-0. Worked so well by Madison, and suddenly Baptiste was in. One-on-one with Pack, who spread himself and was able to smother with the feet. And that's where the structure and the angles and the ball movement create danger for Madison. At times this year, though, they have struggled to capitalize on their chances. Every team misses chances, of course. That's part of the game. But there have been stretches this year where Madison have missed them at a high rate, and it's cost them at points. And that is a big, big chance missed here. Corey Bennett now. Omar Sis. Charlotte looking to create one of their own. Flanagan switches it toward the right. Johnson's first touch. It's Joel Johnson. Couldn't wrap his foot around it. And way wide. Good back and forth sequence. Both teams showing how they can build and play through the thirds very well. That's a clear foul and a free kick for forward Madison. And it will be a talking to for Bashir Ndiaye. Looks like referee Alexander Zelyaskov saying that's 2 fouls for you. No more. You go in the book next time. Ndiaye on his first pro contract this year. He was in League Two 2022, an Inter Miami super draftee. Stephen Payne, his cross deflected, and it will be the first corner of the match for Madison. So Chick-fil-A corner kick for the visitors and a chance for them to swing a ball into a dangerous spot. See the banners and flags in the Mecklenburg Reserves area behind that goal. Charlotte in fourth at the start of the day. Madison 2 points behind them in fifth. It will be served in by Pierre De Silva. His curling cross overhit and a waste. Again, the USL Super League coming to the Carolinas. Take part in helping us launch our team by visiting superleaguecarolinas.com. I do encourage you to get involved. Very exciting to see the USL Super League take shape for 2024. Good quick ball movement by Charlotte meanwhile. They work it to Ibarra. He has Flanagan making the overlap, uses Oberton instead. Oberton once more. Flanagan now trying to chop it into the middle for Sis. Pink shirts were in the way. It'll be a throw. Oberton again. Booted clear by Osmond. Now it's Charlotte's turn to test that Madison defense again. A point wouldn't be a bad result for either of these sides in theory. But keep an eye on Greenville, who will be rooting for a draw today. They were supposed to play at Richmond today. That game postponed until tomorrow. That served in and nearly released Corey Bennett. Another vital sliding block. This time to intercept that through ball by Mitch Osmond, who's been immense at the heart of that Madison defense in this first half. So tomorrow Richmond will play Greenville at City Stadium. And that match moved from today to tomorrow due to weather. If Greenville could take all 3 points in that game, they would very much be in that fourth place conversation, especially if these two sides split the points today. Greenville, after their massive 1-0 win at One Knox last week, to, at least for now, solidify themselves in 6th place. Right on Madison's heels for 5th and have a game in hand on both Madison and Charlotte. So 4 points behind Charlotte for 4th with a game in hand entering today. So if these two sides were to draw, for example, then they would just be 5 out of 4th with 2 games in hand. And Greenville have no such thing as an easy schedule down the stretch, but they do play teams mostly in the lower half of the table, 3 of their last 4 games. So there is real opportunity for Greenville to end the regular season in a home playoff game spot for the first round. They're a side that would be very dangerous to make a deep run. But if Charlotte were to take all 3 points today, that would be a big step for them. They'd then be 5 clear of Madison for 4th, and even with 2 more games played than Greenville, they'd be 7 ahead of them. Free kick for the Mingos here by the halfway line as we enter the final 5 minutes of this first half. Jaden Nonan, Andrew Wheeler-Amanu with Aiden Macias jumping over it acrobatically. Cicero looking to release Payne, who's making a good run, and you see his reaction because Stephen Payne was in if that ball had reached him. It goes the other way, held up by Oberton. silkily as usual. Ndiaye now. Ibarra with space. And Bennett has advanced, and Oberton is there. And Bennett again. No offside flag. Corey Bennett against the back of a defender and then dispossessed by Mauro Sachero. Bashir Ndiaye. That was creative from him to intercept, flick it up in the air to himself, spin around and take it down. That was well done by Bashir Ndiaye. A lot of very nice moments of skill in this first half. Sis. Johnson. Sis around the corner. Racing onto it. Wheeler Amanu there. It comes off Wheeler Amanu. Another corner for the home team. Their 5th Chick-fil-A corner of this first half. See the total corners in half number 1, 5-1 Charlotte with that statistic in their favor. But doesn't really matter unless you make something of them. They had 1 dangerous corner, and the other 3 have been dealt with fairly simply. Let's see what corner number 5 brings. Flanagan again with the service. Right on top of goal, punched by Shipman, still loose, and then stabbed away by Ramos. Cycled to Ibarra. Flanagan has Oberton to his right. Flanagan with the step over, miscontrolled. Oberton takes over. And there's some space now. And down in the box, shouts for a penalty. Uninterested was Alexander Zeliaskov. It's just a goal kick. Hector Acosta went down. The referee seeing nothing in that, and on we go. It was De Silva who made some contact. We have heard meanwhile from the touchline that there will be 3 additional minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half. First half stoppage will be brought to us by Blue Cross of North Carolina. Is there a late twist before halftime? Oberton uses his body so well, but outnumbered for the ball. De Silva. Madison would be just fine getting this game to 0-0 at the break. Kroll. Sachero. Shouts for a foul as they thought he kicked Johnson. He wasn't trying to, but I thought there was contact made anyhow. Wheeler Amanu. Not able to connect with Payne. There's the announcement of the 3 additional minutes. Again, presented by Blue Cross North Carolina. Bennett for Charlotte. There's the patience that Mike Jeffries talked about on Thursday. Bennett not seeing a clear route forward, wasn't going to turn it over. Now Johnson trying to hit Flanagan. Avion Flanagan nodding it down. Bennett trying to get on the end of it. It deflects over him and bounces into the net. And the Jacks have jumped in front before halftime. Scrappy, ugly, doesn't matter. 1-0, Charlotte. Corey Bennett is being credited with it. Certainly not his prettiest, but they're all beautiful this time of the year, and it's a vital breakthrough. A blue breakthrough. Flanagan, an intelligent header back, and it just deflected up off Bennett as Stephen Payne tried to clear it. Put it off Bennett instead. Yeah, off Bennett's face, and Shipman was stranded. Nothing he could do. And it's the boys in blue who will take the lead into halftime. Well, that's a gut punch for Madison, who played quite well in this first half. And now, on that short turnaround, they will have it all to do in the second half. Still some time in the first, and they're going to have a late free kick here just outside the box as we enter the final minute of the 3 to be added on. It was Sachero who was tripped up. And the Mingos could still respond before the break. Well, Charlotte got caught a bit there, and they could pay the price. It's a dangerous spot for a free kick. Onan is around it. De Silva's in the area. Looks like Sachero is too. Who will it be? It's into the wall and away. Payne looks to serve it in. Flicked behind Kroll and can be cleared by Mbuyu. Bennett is racing after it. Out comes Shipman and plays it out with his feet. Is there time to take the throw? We've had the 3 minutes. Ibarra initially wanted to go quickly, now says calm it down. Now it's Charlotte who are happy to get to halftime, a goal to the good. Ibarra will leave this to Joel Johnson. Likely the last action of this first half. Ball stranded at Oberton. All eyes on Alexander Zeliaskov. And there is the halftime whistle. So a late gut punch for Madison and a late moment of good fortune, but good fortune that Corey Bennett will say he deserved as he pressed and made things happen. It came off his face, and it gives Charlotte a much happier face heading into halftime. They are a goal up with a chance to create a 5-point cushion between themselves and Madison for 4th place in that home field spot in the first round of the playoffs. Corey Bennett, 45 minutes plus 1 means with 45 gone and 45 to go, it's Charlotte Independence 1, Forward Madison 0.
Always reaching higher, pushing further, achieving remarkable. At Novant Health, we never stop. Because whether it's sports performance at the highest level or the playground level, we're driven to help you excel at what drives you. Not just keeping you healthy for the game, but also healthy for life. Novant Health. Expect remarkable.
Stand up, Independence fans. Take a break from squinting to see that tiny soccer ball bounce around that big field. Now take off your glasses, rub your eyes, put some eye drops on your contact lenses, or let my friends at AccuVision LASIK help you get that 20/20 vision you need to see the match in high def. Mention Independence and get $1,000 off LASIK. Go get the details right now at AccuVisionLASIK.com. That's AccuVisionLASIK.com.
Are you ready? Ready for more of the game you love? Ready for more players and more teams. Ready for more stadiums, for more fans in more cities. This is a different league. The USL Super League. Built for the future of women's soccer. Bridging the journey from youth to pro, connected to the global game, and bringing it all closer to home. Are you ready?
Halftime from American Legion Memorial Stadium is presented by Blue Cross North Carolina. 1-0, Charlotte leading forward Madison with that late goal in first half stoppage time. Let's take a look at the scores from this past week, the midweek action around League One. Forward Madison, as mentioned, that 0-0 draw against Northern Colorado Hailstorm, and North Carolina FC pulling level with NOCO atop the standings with a 3-0 victory out west at Central Valley Fuego FC. For highlights from those games and more, here is Mark Schoenster.
The first and second place teams in terms of clean sheets met for the first time in 4 months on Wednesday. It all started here with Northern Colorado's Trevor Ammon. He may be having the best season a striker's ever had in USL League One, but that does not mean he's able to get past Burnt Shipman here. Madison hung on early in this one, and then a window of opportunity arose. One mid-season acquisition fouls another inside the penalty area, making it a chance at the spot. But instead, it's just a moment for history for Lalo Delgado, who becomes the first keeper in League One history to complete 4 penalty saves over a career. Not just in a season, over a career, which is incredible. Then just moments later, Noah Powder once again find Trevor Ammon. But nope. Not happening. Burnt Shipman is too agile right now in the first half. It is just all the keepers stealing the spotlight. And then in the second half, the keepers would get bailed out by their team here. Trevor Ammon, maybe third time's a charm, but Jake Kroll comes sliding in. Clean sheets are, in fact, a team stat. Not all on the keepers. Of course, these are 2 great keepers in this game. Then Madison would have one more chance. Christian Chaney, another prolific goal scorer. Can he find the back of the net? Well, nothing Lalo Delgado hasn't seen before. He swats that one away, keeping it 0-0 on the game. Both keepers with 2 individual clinics on why they have more shutouts than anybody else in the league. 0-0 is the final. Then later that night in Fresno, it'd be Olex Anderson, the guy behind Trevor Ammon in the Golden Boot race, would get one back since Ammon was not able to find the score sheet on that same night. Great ball from Nathan Talu, excuse me. It's 15 goals on the season for Olex Anderson. By the way, with the hailstorm draw earlier in the day, North Carolina can take the #1 spot going into the weekend if they get all 3 points here. And look at this from Garrett McLaughlin. Just excellent placement. He now has 7 goals and 6 assists on the season. What an asset he is offensively in his second year with North Carolina FC. What a player. Then just 6 minutes later in this one, it'd be Francois Dulis who is called for a penalty. That's 2 games in a row now that the center back has been guilty of a foul that has resulted in a point to the spot. And Rafa Menzigan knows what to do with it. 3 goals for North Carolina FC, 3 points for North Carolina FC, first place going into the weekend. But the fact of the matter is that Union Omaha has a game in hand. So let's talk about the playoffs. These are the 3 teams who have already punched their tickets. Worth noting, Union Omaha now have the highest max points out of these 3 teams with the hailstorm draw on Wednesday. That means if the Owls, they win out, which sounds like crazy, but they've won 9 games in a row coming into today, they would have the #1 spot. They would be hosting in that regard. Now here are the teams racing to get a playoff spot. The Jacks, the Mingos, and Greenville Triumph all sitting in place to solidify a spot. They can get a couple more victories. You look at those magic numbers, it is in their hands to solidify a spot in the playoffs. But they do have some teams approaching them, still trying to race in, sneak in last second. One Knoxville, Tormenta, very much in it. Lexington are on the brink of elimination at this point in time. They need every single ball to bounce their way, along with them winning out for the rest of the season. With that in mind, we're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll have news and notes with you on ESPN+.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Always reaching higher, pushing further, achieving remarkable. At Novant Health, we never stop. Because whether it's sports performance at the highest level or the playground level, we're driven to help you excel at what drives you. Not just keeping you healthy for the game, but also healthy for life. Novant Health. Expect remarkable.
Welcome back to halftime, presented by Blue Cross North Carolina. 1-0, Charlotte over Forward Madison at the break. Time to look at news and notes from around USL League One. Hispanic Heritage Month, USL celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month with a series of activations running through October 15th. Unidos por el Fútbol. Great to see. And coaching update from Lexington, who named Nacho Novo interim head coach last weekend, freeing Sam Stockley to dedicate time as sporting director. They tell us that was always the plan. And Lalo Delgado, what a phenomenal week he had, becoming the 6th keeper to earn Player of the Week honor with a 6-save shutout victory against Central Valley, which included a penalty save. He also had a great performance against Madison in midweek. Here is the road to the final, the bracket, as things currently stand. And you do stress that, as it stands. This is certainly not the final bracket, but you see how the playoff is structured, and it's a really ingenious system. If you're going to have a 16 playoff, I really do think this is the best way to do it. The top 2 seeds, remember, progress straight to the semifinal. They get that first round bye, and they're at home in the semifinal round. So if you finish in the top 2, you're just 1 home win away from the final. If you finish 3 through 6, then you match up in the first round with the 3 and 4 seeds being at home. The lowest remaining seed after that first round then travels to the number 1 seed. The other winner, of course, would go play number 2. And then that final would be played at the home of the highest remaining seed. So it makes the regular season really matter in League One, which is another reason why this game really matters here today. Charlotte and Forward Madison both above the playoff line, but jockeying for one of those home playoff spots in round number 1. Can Charlotte put this game away in the second half? Can Madison rally? Second half, next.
Always reaching higher, pushing further, achieving remarkable. At Novant Health, we never stop. Because whether it's sports performance at the highest level or the playground level, we're driven to help you excel at what drives you. Not just keeping you healthy for the game, but also healthy for life. Novant Health. Expect remarkable.
When it comes to delivering high quality, affordable health care, relationships matter. And after 90 years, we're proud of the relationships we've built with you, North Carolina. We're collaborating with leaders like Vici, supporting her efforts to help schools address the mental health needs of students, and foster care moms like Gail, working with her to ensure our state's most vulnerable children are thriving, and caregivers like Maya, partnering with her to improve maternal health. From lowering costs to building healthier communities, we are committed to improving the health and well-being of everyone across this state. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina is not your typical health insurer. We're 5,000 neighbors, friends, and family working hard to make healthcare affordable, easier to navigate, and accessible for all. North Carolina is our home. We're here for you, all of you.
Welcome back. Getting set for the second half in Charlotte at American Legion Memorial Stadium. Halftime has been brought to you by Blue Cross North Carolina. Let's see highlights from that opening 45 minutes. Again, it was a strong first half performance by forward Madison. They'll feel unfortunate to be trailing at the break, but here Miguel Ibarra was almost in. He was trying to touch it into the path of Gabriel Oberton with that cutback. It's an excellent reading of the situation by Jason Ramos to put it out of play. This was the best chance of the half for Madison. Francis Jeannot-Baptiste slid in, maybe took an extra touch too many, and the angle was closed effectively by Austin Pack, who made a massive save for his side to keep it scoreless. And then just before halftime, in first half stoppage time, the ball knotted back by Avion Flanagan. Stephen Payne trying to clear it, but could only bounce it up off Corey Bennett's face. And Bennett, who didn't know much about it, he was in the right place at the right time. He was putting the pressure on. Give him credit for that. If he doesn't press that ball, if he doesn't hustle, if he doesn't stay after it, that doesn't happen. As a result, Charlotte, a goal to the good entering the second half. They outshot forward Madison 6-4 in the first half. Just the one shot on target for both sides. Shows you how well Madison defended, that was the only shot on target, such as it was, but it was effective for Charlotte. 54% possession for the visitors, who created some good chances, especially in the first 15 minutes, and then that Baptiste chance in the 35th. But they're going to have to create more now in the second half since they are battling uphill. And to that end, they're going to make a double change this other side of halftime. As we're told, they're about to bring Derek Gephardt and Nazim Bartman onto the pitch, as you see referee Alexander Zeliaskov. So Derek Gephardt will be coming on for Pierre De Silva, and Nazim Bartman will be replacing Mauro Sacchero, who had a bright first half, but again, this was his first start in quite a while. There you see Nazim Bartman getting set to come on. So with Sacchero making his first start in a bit, limited to 45 minutes today. I think Nazim Bartman was being asked to fix his shin guards before he can officially check in. That's what we're being told anyhow. So, interesting spot for Madison, who entering stoppage time in the first half are right about where they wanted to be. But taking that unfortunate goal, now they have to be a bit more aggressive in the second half. That perhaps could open opportunity with this wide. That Charlotte goal, of course, was presented by Botero Carts. And here we go in the second half. Can Madison rally after absorbing that late gut punch at the end of the first? Or can Charlotte solidify fourth place by closing this one out? It is Madison in the pink, Charlotte in the blue. And the Mingos moving from left to right in this second half. You see the records and the points. We are at American Legion Memorial Stadium. I am Donnie Barnes. And another big day in USL League One as we get late in this season. Just 3 games left for either side. The other side of this one. You see the confirmation of the changes there at the top of your screen. Gephardt for De Silva and Bartman for Sacchero. Again, if you're just tuning in and you're wondering where Christian Cheney is, he is suspended for yellow card accumulation today. He picked up his 8th yellow card of the year on Wednesday. That means an automatic 1-match suspension. He is a big miss, especially now that the Mingos trail. But Mike Jeffries was telling me on Thursday, Charlotte's head coach, of course, Mike Jeffries, that they are very wary of Nazim Bartman. They feel he's been really sharp in recent weeks. He said that he will pose a real danger to them. Here's a good run forward, and it's into the path of Onan. And on the left, chance for the Mingos to drop an equalizer here, bursting into the middle. Almost an instant impact for Derek Gephardt. It just ran away from him before he could pull the trigger. Runs all the way out of play for a Charlotte throw. Gephardt looked like he had a little half a moment there where he could have released a shot. Easy to say from here. As Oberton pings it forward for the Independents. It's a good ball into Bennett's path. The goal scorer so far with the step-overs and the cross. Cleared away, and then the foul and the whistle does come. You expected it to come. Contact on Bartman, and eventually it arrived. Plenty of time for Madison, of course. They will not panic and force the issue too much. They still will not open themselves up and take crazy risks in the early stages of this second half. Of course, we are not in that locker room at halftime. We don't know what Matt Glazer said to his side, but you would imagine it would be something along the lines of continuing to do most of what they were doing in the first half. Need a bit more end product in the attack, though. It was a neat initial touch by Jaden Onan, just ran a bit too far away from him. Osman defending up high against Ibarra, and now a whistle. Don't forget that the best ticket deal in the Queen City is back. That's 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, and 4 soft drinks for just $99. The Great Clips Family 4-pack. This year they're also offering a 2-pack. For more information, go to charlotteindependence.com. This is a free kick for Charlotte as they move right to left in this second half. The conversation between the referee and Jaden Onan. There's one of those before the opening whistle today, if you remember. Back underway now. Bashir Ndiaye, that's a clever touch by Tresor Mbuyu. He's side by side with Joel Johnson, but Mbuyu continues and now leaves it for Johnson. And Johnson scoops it into the middle. It falls to Bennett, and Bennett's volley still loose in front, shielded by Jason Ramos, who does well under pressure, and Madison survive and stay within a goal. That was a chance for Charlotte to double the lead, and it really put the Mingos in a bad spot. It was a crucial block initially from the half-volleyed effort by Corey Bennett, who was seeking his second goal either side of halftime. Johnson, after having the ball left to him, just missed Ibarra, but Bennett in a good spot at that back post to clean up the scraps and nearly double the lead. Here go the Mingos now. This is Onan. Thought about shooting. Squares instead for Aiden Macias. Macias had to get sorted out with his feet. Now exchanges with Payne, and Macias cracks it over the bar. Good attack from the Mingos. They'll need more of that in this second half. If you can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM FC 157. That's North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the SXM app. Down the line for Bennett, motored after by Payne. Corey Bennett's a big body, tough to shield him off the ball, but Payne did well. Goal kick. Remember to bring the whole group out to the next Jacks game, watch some good soccer, grab some cold drinks, and take in a match with a view of Uptown Charlotte. Email tickets at queencitysc.com or call 980-392-9170 to schedule your next group outing. Payne now looking to use that speed down the right flank. Charlotte have done a decent job so far of limiting Payne's ability to speed into dangerous spots on that wing. It is overhit and will be a throw for Charlotte down to the corner flag. Actually hits the flag. That's a good bounce for Madison because now they can set up the press. Saw Francis Chanel-Baptiste waving his teammates forward. Otherwise, it would have been a goal kick, of course, which Charlotte would have preferred. There's little moments that you have to get right. You're deep inside your own half. Charlotte do enough to get mostly out. Nearly gave it away, but they have it back, and now they have space to roam forward. This is Ndiaye. Had Bennett to his left. Chooses Oberton instead. And now Corey Bennett. Oberton. Flanagan, the back heel for Bennett. Heavy touch, though. That was cleverly worked by Charlotte. Only one man up for Madison. And now the play whistled down. Apparently a foul behind the play. Corey Bennett's scrappy goal in first half stoppage time, the difference so far. That for the moment has Charlotte 5 points clear of Madison for 4th place. Even though they came in trailing by a couple points for 4th, playing with the short turnaround after the travel, Madison would absolutely grab a 1-1 draw if you offered it to them right now. So they'll feel it's not a mountain to climb, it's a foothill maybe. They have plenty of time in which to climb it as long as they don't concede further. They still are one of the best defenses in the league, despite that unfortunate goal. Ramos into the attacking half now. Oberton flying around, harassing the ball, and that went out of play. Payne, I think, lost track of where he was on the pitch. He had stepped the wrong side of the touchline when he received that. Ramos, I believe that's Aiden Macias who has stayed down. Macias apparently needs treatment. They've not kicked off yet in Lexington. Lexington and Chattanooga apparently in a delay. That was scheduled to kick off at 6 o'clock Eastern. Let's see if we can see what happened to Macias there. The challenge from Oberton, and Macias just felt it afterward and then goes to the ground. Oberton is a big guy. He certainly would feel it if he went rib cage to rib cage with you. Aiden Macias from London, bringing international experience to this Madison roster this year. Previously with Hartford as well in USL Championship. Meanwhile, if you're looking for a little Greek, a little Southern, and always fresh, enjoy a great meal at your local Showmars. Appreciate their support of Charlotte Independent Soccer. Over 10 minutes gone in this second half. Flanagan patiently waiting for that ball to bounce out of play. Depending on the wetness of this turf, if it's a dry day where there's not really been much rain, that ball sometimes will stick on this turf and not run out of play when you think it will. So you can't assume that it's going to do so. Some confusion here. You see Matt Glazer at the bottom of your picture barking at the fourth official. But we play on. Jason Ramos. Mitch Osmond. Jaden Onan trying to skip around Sis. Macias recovered from that side to side. And now a flick into his path. That's a great touch. And it just wouldn't fall and sit down eventually for Nazim Bartman. He's trying to flick it around the corner to himself. Turned back over though, and Baptiste feeds Bartman, and Bartman clips it back post, and arriving off the side netting was Jaden Onan. A good ball and a great run. Just a fraction too far for Onan to steer it goalward. It's a really good idea from Nazim Bartman, and Onan making the right run. Would have loved to have arrived a half a second sooner. Now another collision between Oberton and Macias whistled for the foul. Macias saying, "What was I supposed to do there?" As we let you know that if you're traveling to Charlotte to see an Independence game, make sure you stay at the Hyatt Place downtown. The Hyatt Place is just minutes away from the stadium and is around countless dining options. Hyatt Place downtown, the official hotel of the Charlotte Independence, as Macias continues that argument with Alexander Zeliaskov. Miguel Ibarra. Nick Spielman having another fine game so far. It's a nice switch of play. Charlotte said before the game they would need to switch play from one side to the other on the field quite often against this Madison defense. That was an example of it there. Here's Joel Johnson, clipping it to Oberton, took it off the chest. It's Oberton, it's Flanagan, it's still Avion Flanagan who tumbles over, and the referee's not interested again. Couple penalty shouts for Charlotte now, one before halftime and one here. But it's Madison who are the other way. And it stayed in play for Onan, who used his speed but was up by himself, and Ibarra tracks back and takes it away. We'll see the penalty shout again in just a moment, but first Charlotte back to the attack. It's Mbuyu, who's roaming on that right flank quite a bit. Oberton, Mbuyu wanted the return ball over the top. Oberton didn't feel it was on. So they pull it back and maintain possession with Sis. Bennett's in the channel. Bennett turning and facing goalward. And Oberton connecting with Ndiaye, who returns it to Oberton, who crossed it for Mbuyu, shouts for a handball. Again, not given. Osmond was in the area. It deflected off him. No, apparently off Mbuyu last. It's a goal kick. Let's see the penalty shout now. Flanagan trying to dance between three pink shirts. Maybe some contact. We've seen Alexander Zeliaskov set a fairly high bar for a penalty so far today, and he's sticking to it there. Good interception by Hector Acosta. And here's one of those transition moments for Charlotte again. Mbuyu. He's had some assists in recent weeks to go along with his 8 goals. Dispossessed here. Madison just 2 attackers forward. And you see the result. Just not enough pink shirts up, able to participate in that transition opportunity. That's where they're likely going to have to push more bodies forward as this match wears on if they continue to trail by 1-0. It's not a risk they really want to take, but it's one they might have to eventually. Sis stabbing it for Mbuyu. That's a beautiful ball. Mbuyu has Bennett in the middle. He pulls it back. It's Sis arriving, and it's Omar Sis doubling the lead for Charlotte and putting them in pole position today. Beautifully worked down the right, and Mbuyu continues to turn provider. Mike Jeffries has talked about his growth in his overall game, and it's another example there. Perfect cutback, Sis arriving at the perfect time, and Charlotte are cruising. That's such a good pick out, and Sis times his run perfectly. Normally unsung, doesn't score many goals, but picks his spots to get forward and picked the perfect one there. And a good finish. Low and hard. Shipman was going the other way, couldn't get back in time. And so the goal just before half, and now the goal in transition, which was again exactly the kind of situation Madison wanted to avoid today. When you let Omar Sis range forward from that deep-lying central midfield spot, and you allow Tresor Mbuyu to roam down that right flank unopposed, that's the kind of result you get. And Charlotte in line for a big result now, even with half an hour to play. So, if Madison were going to need to take some chances at 1-0 down, they will certainly have to now, trailing by 2. And that would mean more opportunities for Charlotte potentially to hit them in transition. It's a tough spot for Madison. On short rest with the travel. That first goal before halftime will frustrate them so much because they played very well in that first half. Done just about everything they'd wanted to. You think back to that opportunity for Baptiste in the 35th minute where he was in. He took one touch too many, and Austin Pack came out and smothered the one-on-one opportunity. That would have really changed the game if Baptiste had been able to put that away. As well as they've played this year, and they have been massively improved, Madison, this season. They work the ball so well, neat combination play, so very well structured and disciplined in the system that Matt Glazer has set up. This ball is headed by Flanagan, chested down by Payne. Ramos keeps it moving. But at times the one weakness for Madison has just been an inability to finish off enough clear chances. But they might have a chance here. Slipped into the box, but not quite the right ball. Bartman trying to slide in a runner and couldn't pick the right angle. Still 25 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. And if Madison were to score the next one, it would make this game quite open again. Madison are about to make another double change as here goes Flanagan. This is a good foot race with Payne. Those are evenly matched speed for speed. It's Payne called for the push and the foul and a free kick for Charlotte. And more frustration for Madison. Payne was shoulder for shoulder with Flanagan and didn't feel he committed the infraction. We'll see it again. That's such a good matchup, Flanagan versus Payne. It's what you'd want to see as a fan. Alexander Zelyaskov feeling there was too much contact with the arm in the end. Isidro Martinez and Ozzy Ramos are getting ready to come on for Madison, but I believe they'll defend this set piece first. Joel Johnson will deliver. You see two men in the wall for Madison. Nazim Bartman is one of them. Johnson scoops it in and headed up in the air by Bennett over the bar and out. Good delivery from Johnson. Bennett perhaps just mistiming his jump slightly. It's a good chance. Charlotte nearly putting the game to bed. Tonight, the Charlotte Independents and Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina present Latin Heritage Night, a celebration of Charlotte's growing and vibrant Hispanic and Latino cultures. Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina is the official health insurance provider of the Charlotte Independents. Here is that double change now. with Isidro Martinez and Ozzy Ramos coming on. Andrew Wheeler-Amanu and Aiden Macias, the two players removed in favor of Martinez and Ramos. So Blazer trying to find fresh legs and fresh attacking ideas for the final quarter of these 90 minutes. Trying to slip Payne down the right, but Ibarra read it and put it out. First involvement for Martinez, and now Onan just behind Bartman. Madison are finding themselves in some decent positions at the edge of that final third. Need to pick that correct final pass, which is always one of the hardest things to do in this sport, of course. Free kick now for Charlotte. We're about to make their first change of the afternoon, and it is a symbol of the attacking riches and luxury that they possess, that Dane Kelly, the USL legend with over 100 goals to his career name in USL play, will be coming on with a 2-0 lead. He's going to be replacing Gabriel Oberton. That was almost a careless giveaway by Flanagan. Works out for Charlotte, as everything has so far for them this afternoon. Ndiaye, Sis. Omar Sis's goal a little while ago, just his second of the season. He is now, had to get that right. A couple times that Francis Jeannot-Baptiste has almost picked a pocket and created a dangerous turnover the other way. This is Oberton, who will be removed at the next stoppage. Given away to Baptiste. Move to Bartman. Turns intelligently away from Flanagan. And tried to split the seams with that ball. Shouts for a foul. Madison feeling they should have a free kick. Again, Alexander Zeliaskov not agreeing. 70 minutes played, 20 plus stoppage time remaining. 2-0 Charlotte. On goals by Corey Bennett just before halftime. And Omar Sis in the 62nd minute. It's given away. And a chance for Ramos now to create something for Madison. Brings in Martinez. And now Bartman, with Payne making the overlap. Stephen Payne looked for the cutback. Really well done by Nick Spielman once again, who had several of those vital interventions in the first half and stepped up well to block that out for a corner, which will be just the second of the match for forward Madison. There is the substitution for Charlotte now as Gabriel Oberton comes off. And Dane Kelly will take his place. Dane Kelly, who's been an impact substitute in recent weeks for Charlotte. He scored off the bench to rescue a 2-2 draw for them last week at Lexington. Jeffries saying this week that sometimes Dane Kelly puts less pressure on himself coming off the bench. He knows he doesn't have to save himself or pace himself. He can go full speed for the remainder of the match. This is a Chick-fil-A corner kick. A lot of times teams defending a corner will wait to make a change until afterward, but Charlotte doing it right now. Saw Dane Kelly take his place on that near post. Isidro Martinez will deliver this ball. His outswinger punched clear by Austin Pack. Onan was trying to volley it from the edge of the area, and now the foul given against Mitch Osmond. Another frustrating sequence for the Mingos. Breast Cancer Awareness Night will be held on Saturday, September 30th as the Independents face 1 Knoxville SC. First kick is at 5 p.m. Claim your tickets today at charlotteindependence.com. Austin Pack hasn't had a ton to do in goal for Charlotte today, but he's done it very well as usual. He has elevated them so much in goal this year. Over the top, and a trip called and a foul. Ramos asking for more as he was tracking back and was tripped up. If you need to rehydrate after a workout, a run, or a soccer game, trust Gatorade. Gatorade keeps the Independents game ready all the time, so they're always ready to take the field. Now a card, looks like the first card of the match. Is that Isidro Martinez who was shown it? Or was it Ramos? Matt Glazer frustrated on the touchline for Madison. It was Ramos who was shown the card for dissent. Here is Martinez now in that center circle. Still time for Madison to rescue something today. They'll need a goal soon. Taken down neatly on that far side. Here is Onan, combining well, out in front at Austin Pack, reading and smothering just before Francis Jeannot-Baptiste could slam it in. Best move of the second half for Madison. This is the kind of combination play, one-touch passing that they're capable of. It's the way they scored against Richmond Kickers last week in that beautiful goal just out of halftime where they possessed the ball for nearly a minute and passed it into the net. And now straight down the middle, flag is up. Dane Kelly is offside. Approaching the final 15 minutes of the 90. Again, this is where Madison would love to have the suspended Christian Cheney available to help with this attack. Still have an opportunity, but that's not the kind of touch that will get it done from Baptiste. And Charlotte will relish playing on the counter here for the rest of this second half if they can. It is Mbuyu. Taken away from him, and Martinez now for the Mingos. Martinez with plenty of space in the center of the park. Now Derek Gebhardt. The cross stabbed in low, but unable to beat Hector Acosta. And Johnson, that's beautifully done between he and Tresor Mbuyu. And Johnson to Ibarra, who tried to keep it moving for Bennett, and does. Corey Bennett, already with a goal today, strikes from distance. Didn't get the bend on it that he wanted. USL is celebrating Hispanic Latino Heritage Month with stories, events, and more, bringing to life this special celebration across the league. Go to uslsoccer.com/Hispanic-heritage to learn more. Madison will make one more change at the next stoppage. They're going to bring Eric Connerty on for Francis Jeannot-Baptiste. He was trying to be slid in there by Bartman. Still alive on the edge of the area. It's Ramos from distance, deflected down easily to the feet of Austin Pack. Remind you again, you can make your own schedule with our new Flex Plan ticket package. You get tickets at a lower rate for the matches that fit your schedule just by emailing tickets@queencitysc.com or calling our ticket office at 980-392-9170. Here go the Jacks now, trying to put this to bed. Dane Kelly just had it elude him, and he was offside again anyhow. Mingo still waiting to make that last change with Connerty to come on for Baptiste. Here's Stephen Payne, though. Onan. Martinez. Pinged into the path of Payne, but just beyond him and out for a goal kick. And we'll have those changes. Charlotte are going to make a couple as well. So Connerty on for Baptiste for forward Madison. Corey Bennett is coming off for Charlotte. See the two to come on, Luis Alvarez and Fabrice Ngaha. And Tresor Mbuyu also removed. So 2 players involved in the 2 goals. Bennett, who scored the first. That scrappy ball that hit him as he put the pressure on and looped into the net. And Omar Sis, who beautifully set up the second with that assist in the 62nd minute. Eric Connerty will try to add to that attacking midfield for Madison in these final 11 minutes plus. Fabrice Ngaha, Cameroon national left back, of course. This goes into the box. Again, cleared by Spielman. Payne takes it down there, feeds Isidro Martinez, who's finding lots of pockets of space to work with. And now Jaden Onan. Onan with a cutback, beautifully done and stabbed over by Bartman. Well worked, and again, the end product, the finish, the final touch, just not there for the Mingos. This was such a good cutback from Onan. Played it early, and Bartman was in space. Joel Johnson had lost him. Here's Flanagan now. And took a touch. Goes down. Free kick. And a card as well. Now Ramos was on a yellow. Was he shown the card? If so, that would be his second yellow. That's confusing. We were told that Ramos was shown the yellow card earlier. It must have been Isidro Martinez who was shown the first yellow card, so that's been clarified for us now. So that is Ramos's first yellow of the afternoon. Martinez is also on the card from earlier. Meanwhile, that clock melting away. Charlotte inching closer to going 5 clear of Madison for 4th place in that home field spot in the first round of the playoffs. And they could ice it with a goal here. The free kick from Johnson curled towards goal, but an easy take for Bernd Shipman. He would love to get something started quickly, but all those pink shirts work their way out from their own penalty spot. Stephen Payne in the direction of Jaden Onan, who is making a good run. Connerty trying to make himself a nuisance. Martinez doing the same. It's good work with the body by Isidro Martinez to help his team win it back. Now Ramos. Good turn by Bartman. Feeds it on the left. Pulled back for Bartman. His shot deflected. Ramos eventually. Now Martinez. Now Payne. And Payne's looping ball to the penalty spot. Up in the air it goes. And cleared away. Mingo's able to win it back, though, building some pressure here in these final 10 minutes. Need a goal soon. That didn't quite run through to Derek Gephardt, out for a throw. Mingos continue to have some good moments of build-up, but they need those moments to tell soon. Long throw taken by Kroll. Spielman with the clear, back to Kroll again. Ramos. Did well initially, but then didn't have the angle right to Kroll, and it all breaks down for forward Madison. Charlotte will be in no hurry to take the ensuing throw. eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. Free to play. Download now. Reese Ngaha with involvement there. Bashir and Diahe and Ngaha again. Good combination by them to get themselves out of that defensive third. Now Dane Kelly looking to spray it cross pitch. See, just not a lot of pink shirts forward in the attack. They do win a free kick, and now they can pile some bodies forward. Another whistle. It looks like the card is coming out for Dane Kelly. So Kelly becomes the first Charlotte player booked this afternoon. Comes 84 minutes in. Alexander Zelyaskov, who has mostly kept the cards in the pocket today. Yeah, that's not a good challenge from Dane Kelly. Ramos. Bartman. Little surge of pace, and Jake Kroll has that runaway from him, but it will be a corner. Just the third of the match for Madison, presented by Chick-fil-A. So a set-piece opportunity. See if Isidro Martinez can create something here. Ball to the near post. The flick-on was won by Mitch Osmond. That's what they wanted. It was blocked out for another corner. So Martinez will try it again. Can Madison set up a dramatic finish? Again, they go for that near post. This time Ngaha rose to thump it away. And Alvarez can race the other way for Charlotte. Touching it right around Ramos. It's Alvarez in space down the right. Has those blue shirts galloping down the middle, but can't pick one out. Ibarra was the target. Kelly was to his side. Madison remain in it. Stephen Payne. I don't mean to keep harping on the absence of Christian Cheney today, but not having him takes away that ability to play direct that you could really use when you're chasing a game like this. This is good combination play again. It's Payne lifting it into the box, chested down toward the spot, but Omar Sis solidly away, and Kelly playing that holding role and feeds Alvarez brilliantly. And Alvarez with space, Ibarra charging ahead of him, but the ball forward too heavy. And Shipman with the take. It was on there. Just needed a better weight on the ball from Alvarez. Easier said than done. It stays 2-0. Madison stay in with a chance. That falls to Derek Gephardt. Now Ramos. Gebhardt. Kroll. Kroll's cross over everyone. Payne will track it down. 2.5 minutes of the 90 remaining. Martinez, clever backheel flick. Fed back into his path, Isidro Martinez. His cross, backheeled in improvised fashion along, but doesn't fall to anybody in pink. And again, there's acres of space for Alvarez to roam forward. Alvarez has Kelly ahead of him. He has Ibarra to his left. He has the overlapping run from Omar Sis. It's Sis off the side netting. Mike Jeffries was a little frustrated with how his team failed to execute in transition late on last weekend against Lexington. He felt they had chances to steal that game when it was 2-2 and Lexington were piling bodies forward seeking a late winner. Here's a double change for them though. These changes, as all substitutions are, presented by Atlas Chiropractic. Brad Dunwell and Shalom Duty are coming on for these final couple minutes for the boys in blue. Avion Flanagan and Omar Sis will be coming off. You see Sis maybe dealing with a cramp. You hope that's the case and that it's not anything more serious than that. Sis has put in quite a shift. And he's gotten forward a bit more than he sometimes does from the run of play. You'll see Sis come forward in attacking set pieces. He scored some goals from corners and such as Flanagan goes off. Good shift by Flanagan as well. On that left side as usual, Brad Dunwell made a bunch of appearances with Detroit City in USL Championship last year. Also played for Oklahoma City and Rio Grande Valley in USL Championship. Plenty of experience. He'll look to help his side see out these final few minutes. Ball aimed for Kroll. Ball's on the edge of the box. Still won't fall to anybody in pink. And now the whistle goes. The foul against Bartman. And it's been a frustrating afternoon for the Mingos as we enter stoppage time, of which there will be 5 minutes. Stoppage time presented by Blue Cross of North Carolina. Still some time left for forward Madison, but they would need one back very soon if they were to have a chance to stage a dramatic late rally. Connerty does well to keep possession. Madison need more than that. Onan trying to chase that down. It's been one of those situations where it would have been easy to quit for forward Madison, having just played in midweek. They had to deal with the travel, adverse circumstances for them. They certainly have not done that, to their credit. And that goal in first half stoppage time, the old cliche that goals change games, very true today. It changed this game entirely. Madison had a strong first half. They'd had some chances to take the lead themselves. They were still quite happy to be apparently going into halftime at 0-0. Then it all flipped on that deflection off Corey Bennett's face that looped up and over Burnt Shipman into the back of the net. Shipman way out of his goal here. Won a throw. Was about to take it himself before leaving it to Jason Ramos. Now Connerty with plenty of space. Charlotte have left themselves surprisingly open here with a 2-goal lead. They're looking to hustle back. Here's Onan. Now Martinez. Slid in for Connerty. He goes over. Again shouts for a penalty. Martinez keeps it alive. 3 minutes of the 5 remaining. Martinez goes over. Now a whistle and a free kick for Madison. Charlotte have only kept 2 clean sheets in their last 15 matches. They're minutes away from a third. But a little moment like that, kind of an indication why that's been the case. Because they were far more stretched and open than they should be with a 2-goal lead in second half stoppage time. And I think Mike Jeffries saw his annoyed look at the bottom of your screen there. That was why. Ramos over the free kick. Pink shirts lined up at the edge of the 18-yard box. Ramos to swing it in. Decent delivery, but again, Charlotte had a man well positioned. Payne. Ramos. Bothered by Ngaha, has to pull it all the way back to Shipman. Shipman ranging way up the pitch. It's got to go forward for Madison. It's Martinez. It's Connerty. Now facing that wall of blue shirts. We're much more properly positioned now. Overlapping run from Payne. Payne's header into the middle. It was met by Kroll, but not with the kind of pace he would have liked. And Austin Pack makes the save, and Charlotte are nearly there. Now a long ball over the top, and Dane Kelly is onside. Dane Kelly's in, but just tracking back Mitch Osmond. It's another wonderful challenge and last-ditch challenge by Mitch Osmond, who's made a bunch of them today. It appears that it won't be enough for Madison, but again, the center half has done his part for the Mingos. Final minute of the 5 added on. Again, Charlotte stretched here. It's Bartman trying to play in Onan. Connerty toward the corner. That's not really where Madison want to be. Ramos. Martinez. The flick doesn't come off. Booted down the pitch one more time by Charlotte. Alvarez racing after it. Put out by Osmond. That will just about do it. There's the final whistle. Not every win's pretty, but this one is precious. A beautiful result for the boys in blue. 3 huge points for Charlotte in their quest for home field in the first round. They're now 5 ahead of Madison for 4th as they defeat the Mingos today by 2-0. Our play of the match presented by Paycor. It's the second goal for Charlotte. A beautifully executed transition. Omar Sis making the late trailing run. Excellent cutback by Tresor Mbuyu to find him. And that put it to bed for Charlotte, who saw it out fairly comfortably over the final half hour after that goal. In the first half, the save of the match presented by Orange Theory. That was enormous. Francis Jeannot-Baptiste slid in, but Austin Pack out to deny him. That would have given Madison a 1-0 lead and certainly would have changed the whole complexion of this match. But Shipman, or I should say Pack, for the umpteenth time this year, helping his team out in a key moment. The man of the match presented by Oaklore Distilling. Tresor Mbuyu didn't get on the score sheet today, but was excellent throughout, using his movement, using his pace, varying his runs, and then had that transition opportunity in the 62nd minute and made it pay handsomely for his side with that perfect assist. Tresor Mbuyu, your man of the match this afternoon. We'll come back and wrap things up with highlights and final stats from American Legion Memorial Stadium after this.
Always reaching higher, pushing further, achieving remarkable. At Novant Health, we never stop. Because whether it's sports performance at the highest level or the playground level, we're driven to help you excel at what drives you. Not just keeping you healthy for the game, but also healthy for life. Novant Health. Expect remarkable.
Are you ready? Ready for more of the game you love? Ready for more players and more teams. Ready for more stadiums, for more fans in more cities. This is a different league. The USL Super League. Built for the future of women's soccer. Bridging the journey from youth to pro, connected to the global game, and bringing it all closer to home. Are you ready?
Welcome back to the Queen City one more time today, where Charlotte Independence triumphed over Forward Madison FC by 2-0. Let's look at the highlights from this one. We'll show you the 2 goals, the 2 moments that made the difference today. In first half stoppage time, it was Avion Flanagan nodding one back. Stephen Payne tried to clear it. It hit Corey Bennett's face and bounced very kindly for Charlotte, very cruelly for Forward Madison. Again, credit Bennett for putting the pressure on. This wouldn't have happened if he hadn't been hustling and making that possible, but it was still a moment of fortune for Charlotte. And then their second goal, very well constructed and finished off flawlessly by Omar Sis. And that was all that was required today for the Jacks, who outshot Forward Madison 11-10. Just 2 shots on target for either side, but both of those on target for Charlotte wound up in the back of the net. 60% possession for Forward Madison, didn't matter in the end. A couple yellow cards either side. Charlotte doing enough to go 5 clear of the Mingos for 4th place and home field in the first round. So, a good victory for Charlotte, who continue to be one of the best home sides in the league this year. 10 wins at home for them now on this ground, where they remain so difficult to beat. Forward Madison still have a great chance to make the postseason for the first time in 4 years, but more work to be done for them. We hope you've enjoyed the broadcast. For our entire great crew, I'm Donnie Barnes saying good afternoon from Charlotte, where it finished Charlotte Independence 2, Forward Madison 0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.